Hello and welcome back to the Rugby Connection podcast for the fans, by the fans. It's just a dynamic duo again. Harv, he's getting better, but he's getting some time off.
He's on the repair, isn't he? He's on the repair.
And he committed a sin this week. He hadn't watched any rugby, but we understand why. So, but it's not acceptable, but we'll let it slide. Cam's with us this week. Cam, how are you getting on?
Yeah, man. Another big week of rugby. Obviously, we'll get onto it, but we had a bit of sad news. But ultimately, not a bad week.
Yeah, no, like you said, lots of rugby, but we will start off with the very sad note. The world of rugby is broken at the moment.
Lost a legend.
Lost a legend. Scotland. I said one of Scotland's favourites. I am demoting him to Scotland's
favourite son, Doddie Weir.
Doddie Weir. Lost his battle with motor neuron disease. Absolute horrible disease. But with what Doddie has left behind, and then my name is Doddie Foundation, and the money is raised to find a cure. We will find a cure. It's going to happen. And Doddie's legacy will live on. And that's why I've got the headband on tonight. I've got the hoodie on, and I've got the Lions in Scotland because it's all for Doddie. And yeah, he will be missed. Don't really know what else to say. We are
obviously
of the Weir family, of course.
It's I think it's more heartbreaking because the fact that we've seen him so recently. He was present at the All Blacks versus Scotland game just a couple of weeks ago, and obviously, it was unfortunate. He, from last time we seen him, was looking in a worse way, but his spirit always high, and he was just sort of one of those people who just made the best out of a terrible situation. Obviously, our thoughts go out to his family, his children, and his wife, and massive loss for the rugby world. Me and Murray were chatting about how rugby just feels so much more connected than any other sport, and when we lose a player, especially a player so prestigious like Doddie, it impacts all rugby fans, no matter who you support.
Yeah, facts. Definitely couldn't agree with you more there, Cam. I will just use the Bill McLaren quote that best described Doddie's playing career. Doddie Weir, running loose like a mad giraffe. That's Doddie in a nutshell. Just before we move on, I want to just share a quick story, just a little. And it's the most natural, again, the most Doddie story ever. I met the man once by accident, completely by accident. So it was obviously at Murrayfield. It was a Scotland international game. I cannot remember for the life of me who it was against. This was about 2013-14. And right before kickoff, my dad decides to go to the toilet, even though I don't let anyone go to the toilet at a rugby game. You have before kickoff, and you have half time, and you have after the game to go. Yeah. That's my rule. Anyway,
that is the rule.
My dad goes to the toilet, and he's gone for a while, so I guess the point, I'm constantly, I sit right next to the steps, so I'm constantly looking up the steps like what the hell, where is he? 5-7 minutes go by, my dad's still not back, and I'm like, what the hell, is he stuck or something?
Little Murray's starting to worry.
I know. Well, I was a bit younger then, so I was a bit panicky. And I turn around to just see if he's coming down the stairs, and I see just a mountain of tartan. That's the best way I can describe it. Doddie Weir standing at the top of the stair, catches me just kind of like jaw dropped, like, shit, there's Doddie Weir. And he's like, "You all right, young man?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good, yeah." I, like, very nervous and jittery, and I was like, "You're Doddie Weir?" He's like, "Last time I checked, I am, yes." I was like, class. And like, he just asked like what I was doing. I was like, "I'm just waiting on my dad because he's taking forever." And he laughed and went, "Enjoy the game." And that was it. He went away. My dad came back. I told him I just met Doddie Weir. My dad didn't believe me. I did. I definitely did.
Yeah, man. Massive loss. Really sad to hear. He was an amazing person. He stood for an amazing cause, and unfortunately lost his battle. But thoughts are with his family and whatnot.
Absolutely. We are going to go into more positive news because we cannot thank you enough for everyone involved in this. We put out our nomination for the inaugural RCP Awards last week, put them on Instagram to get your people's votes. So it was you people that were deciding.
A lot of interaction.
A lot of interaction. I even had comments arguing why we didn't nominate certain players. Like,
Why
didn't we nominate Josh van der Fleer? Because he's actual World Player of the Year.
Actually, we did it on the basis of literally, obviously, there's 5 of us who do the podcast, us 3 lads and the 2 girls, and we all chose, a nomination for each category, literally based on our own opinions, and then we gave it to you guys to pick the best out of those ones, and you have done.
Yes, so we will start off with Coach of the Year. It went right down to the wire. There was only the 1 vote in it at the end. But our boys from across the pond will be very happy with this. As the first ever RCP Coach of the Year, Ireland's Andy Farrell.
Yeah,
you get it. I get why.
Yeah, he, number 1 team in the world. And he's turned Ireland into a machine, hasn't he?
He has indeed, yes. It's frightening how when people were like, "Oh, Joe Schmidt's a big loss," and granted it was.
Joe Schmidt was an amazing coach,
but Andy Farrell has made that transition very easy.
Yeah, he's if you're talking about where he's going next, obviously the World Cup he'll be aiming for, and then if you're thinking to 2025 Lions tour, his name's got to be up there. It's got to be up there. So
yeah, first ever Coach of the Year, Andy Farrell. Makes perfect sense. Try of the Year. I thought
this is a good one.
I thought it was going to be closer than I thought, but it wasn't. This boy ran away. We go all the way back to the Six Nations when the Italians stormed into Cardiff and Padovani, not Capuzzo, as Harv tried to nominate it.
Yeah.
Yes, it was Capuzzo that set it up, but it was Padovani that scored it. So it's Edouard Padovani that has got the try of the year.
Mad try. Absolutely amazing try. I think it had everyone who wasn't Welsh on their feet. I've actually got I've got a post on my TikTok of my reaction to, I think it's Garbisi putting over the kick to put them ahead. But yeah, well deserved, and Italians need to win more.
Yes, and we go on to Women's 15s Player of the Year.
Pretty obvious one.
This was a lot tighter than I thought. There was a lot. Every nomination was voted on, which we love. Yeah. But it could only be one. It was the record breaker herself, the world
prize scoring machine.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a unit on the pitch. She'll destroy you. It's Portia Woodman.
Well deserved, man. You can't look past her. A lot of people were a bit sort of confused about why she didn't actually win Player of the Year. But she's our Player of the Year, and you guys seem to have finally got your vote on that. So yeah, I will give
a shout out though to our runner-up, not because she was a runner-up, just because of how people wanted to try and vote for her. So runner-up was our dear friend Sophie de Goody from Canada.
My pick.
Well, my pick won, so sorry. Anyway, but massive shout out to Sophie de Goody's mum, Stephanie, because she actually shared our post and put vote for Sophie as if it was a prestigious one. I love it, and she's a legend because she shares all our stuff.
True.
And the last award, the Men's 15s Player of the Year. It was an absolute landslide. Over 70% of the votes. The man that probably should have won the World Player of the Year.
Yeah.
Ardie Savea.
Ardie Savea, man. He didn't get any justice from World Rugby. So Rugby Connection podcast, although we might not be as prestigious, we have given him justice, and he is our Men's Player of the Year. And like you said, by a landslide, because obviously a lot of people probably would have picked him for Player of the Year. There's not much to say about it. You've all seen Ardie Savea play throughout the year. He's been an absolute stalwart for the All Blacks, performing in their worst performances and still standing out in their best performances. Yeah, he's our best player in the world, and he is the best player in the world, let's be honest.
Exactly. And yeah, just thank you to everyone that voted. We'll definitely be doing it next year, because it was actually a lot of fun trying to break it down, because the rule was, like Cam said, there's 5 of us, so we all had a pick. The amount of times we had to message each other in the chat, change your answer.
I've already picked this one here.
already picked that one, and yeah, it caused a lot of arguments. But the way the Instagram filter works, you can only get 4, so we might actually get to agree next year.
Yeah.
But oh well. We're going to stick with the internationals for now, just to get it out of the way, because there was only 2 to round off the autumn internationals this week. Wales buggered it against the Wallabies.
What a game.
39-34. And I'm just going to leave the other one to you, Cam, because, yeah.
Let's start with the Wales game.
Let's start with the Wales game.
Wales were looking, and fair play to them, Wales were looking very, very good. For the majority of the game, you know, Australia really only get on the board. They get a penalty goal, 15 minutes, 3 points, and then their only try comes in the first half comes from Anja. But yeah, you got to say Wales looking really good. Jack Morgan, Talupe Faletau both getting on the board. Gareth Anscombe running the attack. You thought, okay, Wales have come back with a vengeance, and there might be a bit of hope for them. But
one man said no to that.
However,
I'll say his name because I know I can say you. I don't know if you can.
What, Mark?
Marky Mark is the commentator. No, Mark Nawakina Tawase. There we go. First time. There you go. That's how you do it. Yeah.
That is.
Mark Nawanakil Kawase. What an effort. Like, just everywhere. Just absolutely unreal. Like, if you want someone to take the game by the scruff of the neck,
he's your man.
That's what he did.
He's your man.
Just solid effort. And then the winning try for me was a bit strange. I didn't like how it was done, but you know what? You played to the whistle, and that's what Australia did. But like, there was a deliberate knockdown, so it would have went back anyway. Yeah. And the replacement Wallabies hooker just nope, straight through.
No, I'm having it actually. Yeah. But
question before we move on though.
Yeah, go for it.
It's heavily rumoured. Pivac out?
He has to be, man. Everyone's saying you can't do before the World Cup. But I'm sorry, you know, how... Listen, Wales this year came 5th in the Six Nations with a loss to Italy. Fair enough, a good Italy side who have been up on the rise, but still a loss to Italy at home.
Yep.
They got a 2-1 defeat in their South African tour. Yes, they picked up a win against the world champions, but it was against a very young team and by a point. Then their autumn kicked off with a massive loss to the All Blacks. Yep. They sort of scraped it back with a win over Argentina. Then they lost to Georgia. And then they let go a, 20-something, 24-point lead?
Yeah, Wallabies got 26 unanswered points the Wallabies got. And there were 2 men down at some point.
Yeah.
Just granted, Wales finished with 13 men, but
again, that's off the fault of their own. Justin Tipuric and Ryan Elias getting yellow carded.
Oh, Justin Tipuric just tripped Pete Samu up right in the middle of the pitch.
Or, you know, I'm surprised, to be honest, because they were deliberating whether that would be a penalty try. I reckon Samu would have made it, you know.
Oh, yeah, he's
the ref was like, he wouldn't have made it. Improbable for it to be a try. I was like, the disrespect of Pete Samu.
But justice for Pete Samu. There you go.
Anyways, I'm not going to spend too much time on this game because I will ramble on. But my Springboks, you know, after an absolute crushing victory over the Italians last week, backed up. The reason I'm wearing this iconic Reds Springboks jersey is because it was a bloodbath. That's why.
I love that.
Yeah, you know, 27-13. Absolute dominance. Scrum time, we had them under our thumbs. Kurtley Orense, and actually no, not just Kurtley Orense, Damien Willemse, Willy Leroux, and Kurtley Orense. Oh, beautiful. Kurtley Orense has broken the record for tries in same amount of games or something like that in SA Rugby. He's now scored 7 tries in 7 games consecutively.
Yes. It's the same try as the World Cup final, though.
So similar. You've seen all the memes about you know, how it's literally the same try as the World Cup final, and Owen Farrell and Marcus Smith getting left in the mud by Curtly Aronson.
I think my favorite one was, I don't know if I've never even seen the film, but I know this bit because it always gets used as a meme. It's from, is it Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, the first time.
Yeah, where Leo just points at the screen. There you go.
It's Jez and Colby. Oh man, but yeah, really happy with their performance. England just didn't really look at the races at all. Granted, Henry Slade came on, he scored a try. When he came on, England did look a little bit more zippy in attack. Thomas du Toit, a Sharks man, and we'll get onto the Sharks later, a Sharks man, comes on for, he's been on for like 10 minutes, gets red carded, absolute idiotic play. Shoulder, he did not need to be in that tackle, shoulder straight to the head. 20 minutes with a player down, we concede a try, but our defence holds out, and that's all she wrote. 27-13 over the English at Twickenham.
It was a weird game because on paper, that's not a thumping. 27-13 is not a thumping, but former England international, and I love his analysis, Will Greenwood, said it was the most demoralising game he's seen at Twickenham. Now I would argue bottling 31-0 against us might be more demoralising, but I digress.
Of course you would. No, I think it was just, like I said, it was a bloodbath, and they just got bullied around the park the whole game. Yeah, very proud of my Springboks. Yeah, not much more to say. But yeah, really encouraging stuff. And also the fact that we're starting to play a sort of new brand of rugby with the running, ball in hand stuff. Finally, you know, very happy.
It's going to be interesting, especially with this next 7 months is going to be.
Obviously, we have the Six Nations and we have the Rugby Championship, all leading up to the big one.
You've got the warm-ups, but don't worry if your team gets being a warm-up. They don't mean as much.
Yeah.
More nice to get debuts than anything.
Exactly.
But that's the end of the All Nation series this year. It's been a hell of 4 weeks.
Really good.
As one door closes, another opens, and thank God, because we have missed it like crazy. The URC returned, not the best round, I'd say, though. But we'll go into the results quickly before we pick some games. Stormers at home beating the Scarlets 36-19. Ulster, again, another win over Zebre, poor Zebre, 36-15. The Bulls looking strong against the Ospreys, 43-26. Benetton beating my beloved Edinburgh, 24-17. Leinster just slapping Glasgow around for 80 minutes, 40 points to 5. Munster beating Connacht 24-17 in a close Irish battle. Lions beat the Dragons 33-25. And finally, Cam's beloved Sharks did not show up against Cardiff, getting beat 35-0 in the Shark Tank. Where we're going to start, though, is we're going to start with Edinburgh.
Yeah. Okay. Save my pain for later. No.
We had every chance to win that game. And I'm not bashing players or coaches. I don't like that. I'm just saying we had every chance to do it because Matteo Minozzi did the stupidest thing of the weekend. 10 minutes in, ball comes up, right? So he tucks his legs like everyone does. And then that's all he had to do. That's all he had to do. Yeah. He decided to go, and stick the leg out full. All the studs caught Wes Houston's face because that was a nasty cut after it. And yeah, unsurprisingly, it was a red card. Even though the Benetton fans definitely did not think it was a red. Stephen Ferris, former Ulster and Ireland player, was a pundit for this game and said it shouldn't have been a red. It should be a yellow because it wasn't deliberate. Doesn't matter.
The argument is because we've seen it before. We've seen it in, I can't remember who it was. I think it was Sevu Reece and somebody maybe. We've seen it in Super Rugby last year. Similar situation. In fact, the exact same situation. And the argument is, the leg goes out as a counterbalance so you don't tip.
No.
If that were true, then everybody would be getting kicked in the face all the time.
But the argument of it wasn't on purpose. No, obviously it wasn't on purpose, because if it was purpose, his leg would be extended the whole time.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. But still, you still kicked someone in the face.
Yeah, it's a red card. Like, I don't see why it's an argument. It's a red card.
I'll simplify it. If shoulder to head is red, then
foot to head.
Studs to head is definitely a red.
Yeah.
Jesus. But yeah, Benetton simply wanted it more. Their try by Rhino Smith was lovely. I will give them that. That was cheeky.
Yeah.
And good one for Benetton. Just even Mike Blair, I love Mike Blair as a coach. What he said after the game is spot on, and this is why I don't have anything bad to say. It was basically, we need to capitalise on opportunities given in front of us. We didn't. We need to be more aggressive on it. And it was just like very realistic. It wasn't any bullshit excuse. It was, well, we had a man advantage the whole time. We didn't take it. That shouldn't happen. And that's very true. So yeah. Cam, do you want to talk about what happened in the Shark Tank? Or what didn't happen in the Shark Tank, I'm afraid?
Listen, I've said it. First off, like what I said, 35-0 to Cardiff. Before I get on to what the Sharks did wrong, which is everything, I don't want to take anything away from Cardiff because they were genuinely in control and they looked a good team. They've beaten the Stormers at home as well, so they've beaten the previous champions. So I'm not taking anything away from Cardiff. But the Sharks, if you looked at the teams before the tournament, you would say the Sharks must be, they're going to be contenders for the trophy this year.
Yeah, that's fair.
However, that's our team sheet with our Springboks. And we have a lot of Springboks in our regular team. We have the likes of Khaleesi, Bonkion Banambi, Thomas Atoy, Lukanyoa, Max Olimapimpi, on and on and on. We've got a lot of them. We've got a hell of a lot of them. When we don't have them,
yeah, you don't have many teams.
Yeah. Couldn't capitalize. I'm lost for words. I think I put it in the chat. I'm lost for words. It's really, really worrying of our depth. Not the fact that we don't have players to play.
Not what you said.
The ability of those players. And when you look at the young up-and-coming talent in South Africa, those Springbok prodigies, the ones that, you could see going, none of them are at the Sharks. Okay, Grant Williams.
Yep.
That's all I can think of. Everyone else is with the Lions, with the Stormers, with the Bulls, the likes of Kurt Liara and Sir Kanan Moody. None of them are coming up from the Sharks. We're too reliant on our international players.
That's fair. Thing is, that's not it is a problem when they're away, but when you've got them available, it's definitely not a problem. I know.
Because when we had them available, we saw us absolutely demolish Glasgow. Whip them. But then again, it shouldn't be hard against Cardiff because Glasgow demolished Cardiff.
I was just going to make this joke before we go into predictions that it's not always easy beating Cardiff, is it? Because Edinburgh did it before the break. And there we go. Anyway, we'll go into predictions before Cam
before I cry.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I didn't even watch the whole game. I will say to you guys, I did turn off at 60 minutes because I couldn't watch anymore.
I'm gonna make it worse for you though.
Yeah.
What position did you say you were in the league?
11th.
You're not 11th. You're 12th in the league. You're going down the way. You're becoming the South African Zebra. I'm joking. It's not that bad.
We're supposed to be playing in the Heineken Champions Cup next month.
Right, you'll be fine. It's different. It's a different game. Anyway, predictions for round 9. So we start with, funnily enough, the Sharks versus Ospreys. I'm going Ospreys. Based off that, I'm going Ospreys. Oh, no, wait. Have you got your Springboks got a lengthy time off for?
I imagine, I'm not too sure. I'm praying to God that we have some semblance of stability back with some of our Springboks players. But honestly, After that performance, if we field the same team with the same attitude as today, we're going to lose. But our number one rule, always back your team. I can't see the Sharks putting in a performance like that 2 weeks in a row at home. So obviously, I'm going to back the Sharks. I'm going to back them. Ospreys are a strong outfit. So I'm going to say, let's say Sharks by 6 points. We have the ability and the players are good, but we need to sort something out. Something out. Simple.
I'll go Ospreys by 2. I think it will be like a proper squeaker win. Anyway, I'm back at the Dam. Edinburgh versus Munster. Edinburgh at the Dam.
You'll have your boys back as well, I believe.
Yeah,
the likes of Dewey and Darcy, and
they were all available for this game.
I assume they were just given a break.
They were, but Mike Blair, I love this. So for those who don't know, sorry, I'm going on a little tangent because I forgot to mention it.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to be at the 150th anniversary event at Edinburgh Rugby, where we seen the nice little kit before everyone got to see it. Still available. It's very nice. It's on its way. I would show you it. I have ordered it, but it's not here yet. Because that damn post office just on strike again.
Strike all the time.
Just pay them so I can get my rugby top. It's a very selfish reason, but
exactly.
Anyway, Mike Blair got asked a question, not by me, somebody in the audience. It's very good how much Edinburgh players we've got on the international circuit now, and basically when do we get them back? And he turned in yeah, it is great and it is a great advert for the club, how many internationals we've got. But just because you're an international does not mean you get to walk straight into the starting team. And I love that. That's what it should be.
True. So true. Yeah, fair play to him.
Although I'm going to flip it, they are going to walk straight back into next week.
Hopefully the Sharks internationals will walk straight into the team as well. But anyway, we're past that.
Edinburgh at home, forced to be reckoned with. And again, you back your team. I'm going to go Edinburgh by 8.
Yeah, I think Edinburgh, Munster have probably sort of redeemed their season a bit. They've been playing a bit better, but I'm still going to say Edinburgh by 7 points? So similar.
Fair. Although I would actually love to meet Simon Zebo and all that and get a photo.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's the only sport in the world that you could do that as well, is get pictures with the opposition. But anyway, when we move on to the Stormers hosting the Dragons, I think the Stormers are going to run away with it.
Oh yeah.
Stormers by 17. And that's all I need to say.
Their game against the Scarlets, I think I said, they're finally playing like champions.
That's fair. Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm going to say Stormers. Yeah, I'm going to say Stormers by 12. I'll give Dragons a bit of a break. But it'll probably be by more.
This game's not going to be... I don't know if it's going to be interesting or not. Zebra hosting Glasgow Warriors.
Last time they played... Zebra got their asses handed to them.
Thumped. Glasgow, I am going to praise them here, and I feel a bit ill saying it. Glasgow play some very nice rugby.
Yeah.
You just need that finishing. And I can say that as an Edinburgh fan because Edinburgh have scored the most tries this season and the most try assists. So we know how to score tries.
Yeah.
But Glasgow just need to get
Glasgow
over that.
Play a really nice brand of rugby, and when it works, it works.
But when it doesn't, oh my God,
it's carnage.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw this week with Leinster. It was anyway.
But I'm gonna go Glasgow by 10.
Yeah, it's gonna be Glasgow. Probably Glasgow by 12 points. Zebra started the season strong, but they haven't. It's all well and good being competitive, but if you're not winning games, which they haven't done,
completely agree. This game could be.
It's going to be.
It's going to be an either banger or it's going to be boring. There's no in between, and it's Connacht hosting Benetton,
the greatest team ever.
As I said, Connacht, yeah.
No, the other team, Benetton.
The other ones. I'm going to back Connacht because I play podcast bias when I can't decide. and 2.
Who do I back? Connacht at home or Benetton being the greatest team ever?
Exactly. Connacht at home.
I'm going to back Benetton.
Makes sense.
Mainly because if we're looking at the standings, they are currently in 8th, and I really want to see them make the playoffs. So I'm going to back Benetton by 3 points. Let's say 3 points.
I'll go Connacht by 5 because kicks don't go in at the sports ground because it's windy as hell.
True.
I've been told this on a constant basis. So there
I
you
have
go.
a feeling they've got a fucking big fan on one of the stands that just woof.
Yeah. Plus, before we move on to the next game, sorry. Big shout out to a friend of the show, Byron Ralston, who got his first Connacht try against Munster last week. Beautiful interception.
Stunner. I only seen the highlights. But
I was going to say, you don't have a clue what I'm about, do you?
No, I've seen the highlights. I didn't watch any of the Irish games because it wasn't South African games, but I've seen the highlights. Stunner.
Well, you've mentioned South Africa, so we're back there for the Bulls hosting Cardiff.
The Bulls need to avenge us, and I think they will because the Bulls at home, they are top quality. I mean, they absolutely obliterated the Ospreys. So I'm going to say, as well as Cardiff played against the Sharks, you can't really give them too much because the Sharks played dismal. I'm going to back our South African brothers. And I'm going to back them. I'm going to back them by 12 points.
I'll go Bulls by 9. Here's where we go kicking.
Yeah, see that.
We've got a big old Irish derby now.
Oh, the last time these two teams played, it was absolute snooze fest.
Yeah, it builds up on paper, but it's not usually a yawn. Good old, like, have it on in the background. Chat to your pals.
Listen, it's going to be a very intense game, but I do think it's going to be another snooze fest. Leinster beat Ulster at home last time, so just for the sake of it, I'm going to say Ulster beat Leinster at home because Leinster are due a loss at some point. I'm going to say Ulster. I'm going to say Ulster by 5 points? Let's say. I don't care for this game. I just want to see Leinster lose because
I'm not a big fan of this game either.
And there's two teams that I don't particularly like, so it's like
I don't have any issue with either team. It's just. I feel like I'm going to sound like a granddad here, but it's not what it once was.
Nah, yeah.
But it's at the RDS, and Leinster's going to win by 9. No, I've done 9. By.
I've done 9.
Yeah, I don't like doing the same scores. Leinster by 12. There we go.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
Final game next week is the Lions hosting the Scarlets. Lions are going to win. Lions have been doing really well.
Lions have been, in my opinion, the most impressive South African team, purely because they don't have any internationals to bolster their ranks, and they've just they've just been a solid team. I'm going to back the Lions, and I think Ellis Park. I think the Lions by 10 points.
Go by 15. I'm feeling ambitious. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Lions by 15. I'm going to quickly round off the Premiership. Some teams had their big boys back, some didn't. It's that awkward week in the time of the season. But we'll start on Friday, where Harlequins beat Gloucester 21 points to 12. Newcastle Falcons beat my beloved Exeter Chiefs 24-21. Good job I didn't go down. I did say it last week. I was thinking it. I couldn't afford it. And I dodged a bullet by the looks of it. Anyway, Sale Sharks beat Bristol Bears 25 points to 20. And in the game of the weekend, Leicester Tigers beating London Irish 33 points to 31.
Do you want to start with that one?
Yeah, it was just unreal. I mean, the computer's broken. It says that no one attended the game.
Interesting.
It generally says that attendance 0. Anyway, big shit house last week. Scores straight off the bat this week.
Montoya.
Montoya. And another Safa for you. Jasper Visa got on the score sheet.
Yep.
Yeah. Strange game. I didn't think it would be that close. No disrespect, but it was great. And our first ever London Irish guest, Captain Matt Rogerson, got on the scoreboard, which we'll have to see because he doesn't get to do it often. He does. He's that nitty gritty back rower, and we love him. So well done, Matt. And yeah, just a great entertaining game. Tommy Rafael straight back in on the scoreboard.
It's what the Premiership's all about, isn't it? These sort of score lines. You know, this is what we like to see: big numbers, tight games. Yes, you know, it's Premiership rugby at its finest. But do you want to talk about your boys?
No.
No.
Well,
no.
Yeah. It was a weird one because like the team, it wasn't our strongest team. It was like 70% strength, I'll say.
I mean,
but this season for Chiefs has been too up and down. I don't like it, and it's not, and I don't mean that in a good way or an entertaining way. It's very much, yeah, we beat Quins, we beat Tigers, we narrowly lost to Saracens, and then we get just, even though the scoreline was tight, got embarrassed by Falcons. Worcester, when they were still about, gave us a good go. We still won that game, but again, shouldn't have been that much of a threat. It's just like it's like a big team mentality that slip off against the smaller teams, which you shouldn't in the Premiership.
Yeah, you
of
really
all the
shouldn't.
weeks to flip, don't do it.
One thing I will say, little shout out to them. Bath have now won 3 games in a row.
Bath are turning it around. And actually, I'm glad you mentioned that because there's not really much to talk about now. We've kind of covered everything this week. Finn Russell is heavily rumoured to be going to Bath.
What are your thoughts on that? I think we sort of dabbled on it because I sent the post to the Instagram chat.
I'm intrigued because not that I don't want to see Finn in the Prem. Finn in the Prem that's money to me. That's, you get to keep tabs on him more, you get to watch him more. It becomes even more of a walking highlight reel. You get, if it goes to Bath, you do get the dream partnership all year of Finn and Cammy Redpath.
Yeah.
So I'm all for it for that. My big thing is I'm really wondering about the salary cap thing. It makes no sense. Bath
how are they affording him from Racing?
Well, Racing want to pay him 200,000 less than what he's on now to keep him to stay. Right. That's not happening. Finn's got a family now. Also, I wouldn't take 200 grand less.
No. And he's been absolutely electric for Racing this season.
Not even this season, just bear in mind he's signed from Glasgow.
When did he leave Glasgow? 2018? 29?
2017, I think. It's been about 5 years. Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, because he's been a while in France. I mean, I can't remember.
And he was the man that they signed to replace Dan Carter. Just bear that in mind. That Dan Carter announced that he was away back to Japan, and then Racing instantly went, "We've signed Finn Russell."
Dan Carter.
If he goes to Bath,
what's a team like? If I'm thinking of a team that would suit Finn Russell, first off, Bath aren't the first to come to mind.
Bath would be my top 3 style-wise. It makes sense.
Well, okay, what would your top 3 be?
For Finn style to go to the Prem.
Finn style.
Quins would be number 1 because that's probably.
See if you pick the same as me.
You say yours first then.
I had Quins as my top.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen because I had Marcus Smith, you know.
Yeah. That's depth if you had them too.
Yeah. Number 2 was Gloucester.
They've got Hastings. I know it's different. I know people come in the comments like, "Oh, but Finn's better."
Yeah. No, I'm like this. This is just purely like teams that I think would suit Finn's style. Number 2 was Gloucester, and number 3 was Irish.
Irish would have been good. That would have been very nice. It's a fully fit Irish squad with Finn Russell
Finn at the helm. Yeah, that'd be dangerous, man. That would be dangerous.
Cross kicks to Kyle Rowe and to Ben Loader, and out the back pass it to Van Rensburg.
No, I wouldn't have been surprised if because if any team were to go for a fly-off signing, I thought it would have been Saints. Because obviously Dan Bigger's gone off to Toulon.
Yeah, he left. He just kind of packed his
bag. He just left.
Yeah.
So I thought, Saints would have been the choice. If I heard Ben Russell's coming to the Premiership, which team do you think it's going to be? Just based off that, I'd probably say Saints, off of logic.
I mean, I would have loved him as a chief, and it's not too far to travel. It's literally right across the water because we're right at the coast. But
it'll be interesting. And listen, Bath are, sort of. I wouldn't say they're the underdog, but they're like the team that is the underdog but has so much potential.
Thing is with Bath, and I think it's a lot to do with history. They've still got that drawing power, evidently. Like they're favourites to get Finn Russell.
Yeah,
it's going to be interesting. It is.
Do you want to do? Should we do predictions for next week and then?
Yes, sorry, I got carried away there, and then we'll finish off. We had some more news. Hold on. Because I've lost the bloody fixtures because I came off it by accident.
All right, I'll go through the fixtures there.
Oh, good lad.
Next week, on the Friday, as we've been talking about them, we've got Bath versus Harlequins, Bath at home. Ooh.
I'm going to go for Bath.
3-game winning streak.
I'm going to go for Bath to get 4 on the bounce. I'm going to go Bath by 4.
I think Bath have got the momentum as well, and that's why I'm going to go for Bath as well. I was going to say Bath. I was going to say not Bath, maybe by 3, 4, 5, not a massive margin.
Can you tell Harvey's in here? Yeah.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, since Harv's not here, we could, just go to town in his team.
Yeah, pretty much.
This will be a good one. London Irish versus Falcons on the first game of the Saturday.
I'm going to go Falcons.
I'm saying Irish, and I'm saying Irish by like a comfortable 12 points.
I'm saying Falcons because they've already managed to stun people on the road this year.
Yeah, they do.
That's a shit reason to back a team, but
they've got a good traveling ability. They don't seem to fall off when somewhere, when they're not at home. But I'm still going to back Irish because Christ, they came so close to Leicester, and I just feel like they'll have the edge, man.
Yeah, that's fair.
This is going to be a peach of a game. Gloucester versus Saints.
Always is.
Always is a peach.
I'm going to go Gloucester. Gloucester have all their big boys. They already had their big boys back this week. So, maybe not Hastings because I think he's still injured, but Chris Harris, Lewis Rees-Sammet, Valor Pavaruskin. Oh, money.
Beauty.
And it's a home. Yeah. Gloucester by 6. I don't know why I said it like that, but 6.
Yeah, I was going to say Gloucester I was going to give it a tight one. I was going to say Gloucester by 2 points. I reckon it's going to be one of those games, real high scoring. I'm thinking both teams in the 30s. Yeah, it's going to be a really good one. Bit of a rematch here. Bristol versus Tigers. This is one of those games where I feel it'll go either way. It'll either be a hammering or it'll be really close.
Bears going to get a big win. I don't know. They're the weirdest.
You think they're due a big win?
They're due a big win. I don't know if they can get it.
Over Leicester?
Leicester's not as strong as they were last season.
Not as strong as last season. But they're still a strong side. They're not a pushover side, are they?
You know what? I'd like to see Bristol get the big win. So I'm gonna go Bristol by 1.
The big win.
Big win by 1.
No, I'm gonna say Tigers.
That's
Although they haven't really travelled well this season, have they?
no,
They
but
haven't
that's
travelled.
what I love about the Prem. It's controlled chaos. Is the best way.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Leicester. I'll give it to Leicester by 7 points. I reckon the Tigers will get it done. Tigers versus Bears. Who would actually win in that fight? Probably a bear, but we're gonna say the
There's a
Tigers.
video I've seen on that. There's actually a video I've seen on that.
Oh God.
I'll need to send you it. Anyway, we're going off topic. Quick,
Yeah.
just to round off, and you'll know exactly. I will explain it to our viewers in a minute. But do you return to an ex? For those that don't know, we mentioned it briefly earlier. Wayne Pivac is like hanging by a thread, and it looks the way it's going. It looks like Wayne Pivac will go. That's apparently the big one. And on temporary employment, basically said until the World Cup, but it has to be till after, surely.
Yeah. I imagine it'll be till and including the World Cup.
Return of Warren Ball. We're getting Gatlin back.
I don't think it's the right choice.
It's not. It's laziness. And do you know why it doesn't work? It has nothing to do with Welsh rugby. This is just historical fact. Doesn't matter what they did. It doesn't work when they come back. Sir Clive Woodward literally won the World Cup with England, got asked to come back, came back, had a big massive fallout, and left again. Sir Ian McGeechan, last coach to win anything for Scottish rugby. Sorry. We're getting better. We're getting better, but last main successful coach, came back in to try and fix it. He now has a less win rate than Gregor Townsend because he went back the second time and it didn't work.
Screwed it up. I've had this conversation with people at work. Who would you have to replace Wayne Pivac? Bring in Scott Robinson, man.
He is the name on everyone's list. I got asked this. Like,
why not? You right? Listen.
I'm listening.
I don't understand. He is on everybody's list of coaches that we want to see. Everyone said whenever there's like, who's going to coach this country next? Scott Robinson is always on the list. Now, Wales are in a situation where they desperately need a new coach because Pivac just does not suit the Welsh. And by the looks of it, he just doesn't suit international rugby.
No.
You have an opportunity to hire a coach who has broken the record for amount of Super Rugby wins with the Crusaders. He has I don't actually know how many Super Rugby wins does he have in total. That's as a player and with the Crusaders.
I'm finding this out for you because I wanted to kind of say it.
You've got such a successful coach in Super Rugby, which is one of the more prestigious leagues around the world. Give him a shot. Give him a shot. We saw Wayne Smith absolutely turn it around and win a World Cup. You know, the Kiwi coaches seem to have it. Bring in Scott Robinson, man.
Yeah, it's strange because he's got, I think it's 10 altogether as a player and coach.
As a player and a coach.
Yeah, he's won. I think out of all the history of Super Rugby, I think 35% of Super Rugby trophies have Scott Robertson's name on it at some point. That's fucking mental. Sorry, but that's the best way I could say it. And rightfully so that he's on everyone's shortlist. I got asked this. Now, I don't think Townsend should be getting sacked. I don't know what for. I don't get why.
He hasn't done anything wrong, has he?
I got asked if SRU went, look, it's time to go, who would I bring in? I was like, if he's available, Scott Robertson, because it's Scott Robertson, like we've just mentioned. Or it would be Mike Blair. And I feel like that is actually the realistic one. I feel like Mike Blair will be the next Scotland coach.
Yeah.
But don't do it yet, because we like him at Edinburgh.
You want to win a URC.
I want to win a URC.
Champions Cup.
Both. We're capable of both. Anyway, but I'm like, Scott Robertson, You hear it in England as, oh, it's going to be Steve Borthwick or Scott Robertson. Ireland's not needing a coach. They're actually doing really well. Scott Robertson is that good. He has the All Blacks clause in his contract with Crusaders, which basically tells you if the All Blacks come a knocking, Razor is a going. It's stupid. That's how good he is. That's in his contract.
I don't see how he hasn't been bagged by someone yet.
Might be asking too much wage-wise. I don't actually know. I'm just making stuff up.
Pay the man.
There has to be some
WRU, just pay the man, please. If you want, honestly, I can see Wales getting a wooden spoon this Six Nations.
See with that money you're going to save by scrapping one of the Welsh teams, just sign Scott Robertson with it. There you go.
Yeah, scrap Cardiff because they're clearly just a bad team.
He's fickle like Norham. You can't get rid of a capital city anyway. But no, Scott Robertson makes perfect choice. And there's nothing against Warren Gatland. What Warren Gatland did for Welsh rugby might never ever happen again, success-wise. Doesn't mean you have to go back.
No.
And let's be honest, it wasn't the most attractive brand of rugby.
Another one, if we talk about coaches quickly before we end, the rumours of Eddie Jones heading over to USA.
Big money.
World Cup.
Big money over there.
Big money, and Eddie's one to make odd selection choices.
Always.
I feel like he's just sitting there. He needs a team that doesn't have any standout stars, so he can just play with it, like a kid playing with his toy soldiers to find which he likes best. And I feel like something we saw it with Japan.
Yeah.
He suits an underdog team. Because honestly, as England head coach, I think Eddie's bored.
It's coming across that way because he won the Grand Slam in the first 2 years.
And now, he came third in the last one. And
World Cup final
that he lost. Then he came fifth in 2020 Six Nations. He came third 2021 Six Nations.
Actually, going off topic quickly. As just a selection as a bold pick, as a wild card pick, who does deserve it as well. Jamie Joseph, the current Japan head coach.
Yeah.
He plays some very nice rugby.
I can see Wales suiting because Wales, if we're looking at historically the heydays of Wales rugby, they were the most electric team. The Gareth Edward days.
Yeah.
I feel like Jamie Joseph could, but then again, do you see how the Crusaders play?
So basically, you just came full circle and just said Scott Robertson again.
Yeah.
We'll leave it with that because it's a mess because we said this all season. No tier 1 coaches going before like a year before a World Cup. But Wayne Pivac, you've doubted us. You've said hold my beer, and
you said hold my beer. I'll show you how quick I can go.
I'm showing you how bad I could ruin one of the.
Yeah, let me show you how to ruin a previous best team in the world.
Mental. But yeah,
to be fair, it suits the landscape of world rugby at the moment, doesn't it? It's all over the place, and it's all over the place with the coaches as well.
But if you start this whole, I said it 2 weeks ago in one of my comments that out of the home nations, no Randy Farrell because he's doing really well. Some Scotland fans, not supporters, there's a big difference. Some Scotland fans want Townsend out for reasons. That reason being Finn Russell, which is a fucking pish reason. Anyway, he's back. They've kissed and made up, or did they? They didn't actually fall out. It's all a theory.
Yeah.
Anyway, Finn and Gregor are all good. Gregor's even said it's Finn's jersey.
Yeah.
So there you go. Fans want Gregor Townsend out. Argentina beat England. Oh, Eddie Jones doesn't know what he's doing. He needs to go. And now Wayne Pivac's been the one that's been floating around the most that he needs to go. But there's 3 out of the 4 home nations. Nobody's saying that Fabian Galti needs to go. For, again, obvious reasons, because they're on top form. Nobody's even mentioned Kieran Crawley over in Italy, who's doing a fantastic job.
He's doing a fantastic job, isn't he? Dave Rennie would be one as well.
He wouldn't give up.
He's had a really up and down season with the Wallabies. He lost to Italy.
Ian Foster, there's one. I'll leave it on this for everyone. Who's had a worse career as an international head coach? Wayne Pivac or Ian Foster? You decide.
But Pivac, isn't it? Anyway.
Well, there's not much in it. Like, no. But we'll leave it at that. Cam, always a pleasure.
As always, yep.
And we will see you next week again for URC Prem, and I think that's it. I think
we're a couple weeks out from Heineken Champions Cup stuff, so
getting juicy.
But yeah, next week I'm sure we'll have drama to talk about. We'll probably be hearing about Wayne Pivac being sacked or something.
We'll find something to.
Yeah, URC and Prem.
Yeah, but go and in the meantime, while you sit and listen to us, go and check out our interviews, because fresh from the Rugby World Cup, Lana Skeldon joined RCP. Legend, I love it. And I do apologise that I do go very Scottish in certain bits.
Scotland forever!
Pretty much. No, like there is times even like listening it back, I'm sitting like, nobody's going to know what I've just said. But yeah, great chat. Love her. She's welcome back anytime. And there's a big fish coming to RCP. Big fish. And I'm very nervous, actually. But we'll leave it for that. We'll keep his guessing.
Don't give away spoilers, man.
No, you have to pay for the spoilers. Anyway, this has been Rugby Connection Podcast. Hit the subscribe button. Hit that little notification bell to get updated and get first dibs at episodes like this one, interviews like ones I've just mentioned, and just everything that we do. Yeah, we're on Spotify. Give us a listen if you can't handle all this lusciousness. That's the best way I can put it. I'm just saying up and down. But there we go. Rugby Connection Podcast coming at you once again, and we'll see you next time.